Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Aragon Athletics Awards Night. And what I hope is the last time we do this remotely. We have had a very memorable year, and very excited for the athletes who were able to participate this year. We're going to move along with the program, and we're going to honor some the teams that did extremely well, and then the most valuable players, the three sport athletes, and our athletes of the year. So in the season one, if you recall, we only competed within our own school district, and we were very successful. And so this page, I'm gonna I'm gonna present the our teams that won their district championships. So varsity boys swimming won our district championship with the six schools in our school district, as did JV boys swimming, followed by JV girls swimming, and then moving back onto land. Our varsity boys cross country team went undefeated in their dual meets. So for the teams that were the school sports that were able to compete in a typical league season, we had six varsity championships, which is the most varsity championships we've had since 1994. So our teams performed extremely well, and I will highlight them here. Our varsity boys golf team, who's actually set to tee off here in about an hour down at CCS, won the PAL Bay Division Championship in a dominating fashion, and they're a very young team, very excited about their future. Varsity boys soccer, they had an incredible year. They ended up in the Open Division, the highest level of CCS, the CCS bracket, CCS tournament, and just were. I've been watching soccer a long time here at Aragon High School. This is the best team I've seen. They're super exciting. Congratulations. Varsity girls soccer, they won the PAL Ocean Division. At one time, they had not been scored upon, and they ended up scoring 29 goals to and allowing one, and just had a fantastic season and lost a heartbreaking game in the CCS playoffs. Our varsity boys track and field team, not only did they go undefeated in the dual meets, but they won the PAL league meet, which officially crowns the league champion. The same can be said for the varsity girls track and field team. So just an incredible performance by our track and field athletes and coaches to be able to win both of those championships. And last but not least, our varsity softball team, they're actually still in league play and have two games left. But at this point, mathematically, they're guaranteed at least a co-championship. They're ahead in the standings by two games with two games to play, and they just have to win one out of the two games this weekend or this week to be outright champions. But at the very least, they're still champions as co-champions, even if they lose both games, which I doubt they will. So we also had some individual championships won by athletes. Uh, Christian Wong won the 200 freestyle and swimming. Seth Smith won the 100 freestyle and swimming. Andrew Johnson won the 100 breaststroke and swimming. Moving to track and field, Blaine Reynolds won both the 1600 and the 3200 at the PAL League meet. Ian Coe and Dominic set the school record in the 200, won the 200 and the 400. And Alyssa Huey, she won both the 100 and 300 hurdles. And all three of those track athletes will be competing at CCS next week. So fortunately, we had a lot of teams qualify for the section playoffs, which was we're just fortunate to have section playoffs, and these are the teams that made it. Our boys tennis team and our girls soccer team, before, as I mentioned before. Our softball team has already qualified, and boys golf, as I said before, is competing as we speak, or in a few minutes. Our baseball team is going to earn an automatic bid by virtue of their record, they still have a couple more games. As I mentioned before, boys soccer made the playoffs. And our boys basketball and girls basketball teams both qualified for the playoffs, and they will start play at the end of this week. So now we move on to our most valuable players. So we will, as we get started, first in the sport of badminton. For the boys, we have Nathan Hom, and for the girls, we have Tiffany Lin. So incidentally, the people who are MVPs, you can either contact your coach to get your plaque, or if you email me, we might be able to set up a time where we can coordinate where I can get you your plaque. In the sport of baseball, at the varsity level, Jace Jeremiah, and the junior varsity level, Ashton Moniz Witten. Moving on to basketball, we have co-most valuable players in varsity boys, Murphy Caffo and Troy Johnson. Sticking with the theme of co-most valuable players, JV boys has Zane Sansbury and Jacob Ruttenberg. And Frosh boys, Mir Mujumdar and Lee Nguyen. Moving on to the girls, we have co-MVPs Lala Taimi and Jordan Beaumont for varsity girls. And for JV girls, Maya Yu. Moving on to cheer. At the varsity level, we have Mia Caracedo, and at the JV level, Isabella Franzella. Moving to cross country, the varsity boys MVP, Blaine Reynolds, and the varsity girls MVP, Caitlin Clark. And we only had enough kids for a JV team at the boys level. So the Frostoff boys, Tobias Harris. Moving on to football. The varsity most valuable player was Valentino Faumu, and the JV most valuable player was Ivanhoe Nisa. Golf. For the boys, we had co-MVPs Sam Higaki and Leo Wang. And for the girls, we have Alyssa Angara. Lacrosse MVPs. For the boys, Josh Sethanov. And we have two for girls, defensive MVP Rosella Graham and attack MVP Claire Bever. Moving to soccer. The varsity boys MVP Zane Stokesbury. The varsity girls MVP Marcy Chan. JV boys MVP Elson Wong. And JV girls MVP Bailey Wong. Softball MVPs. We have co-winners. We have Megan Grant and Olivia DiNardo. Swimming most valuable players. For varsity boys, we had co-MVPs Cole Richardson and Howard Hong. And JV boys, Xavier McKenzie. For varsity girls, Alyssa Burdick. And JV girls, Darren Shell. Tennis most valuable players. Varsity for girls, Varsha Jawadi. And for boys, Nicholas Dobbs. Track and field MVPs. Varsity boys, the aforementioned Blaine Reynolds and Ian Coe. And varsity girls, Alyssa Hui and Sophie Fayette Faber. And Frostoff boys, Eric Dodge. And Frostoff girls, Katie Rao. Volleyball MVPs. Varsity boys, we have Aaron Chen. Varsity girls, Jenna Haas. And JV girls, Isabella Bartlewski. Water polo. Varsity boys, we have Lorenzo Vasquez and Kelton King. JV boys, Ryan Vatuan. Varsity girls, Maddie Dobbs. And JV girls, Angelina Tanti. And wrestling MVPs. The boys MVP was Brian Martinez. And the girls MVP, Karen Luna Jimenez. Three sport athletes. So this is going to be a little bit different, and I will, part of the presentation, I'm going to read what we had to do with three sport athletes this year since the seasons were combined and truncated. So due to the combination of seasons and state, county, and district health guideline restrictions, there were only two three sport athletes this year. So athletes who had previously participated in three sports and could not this year, due to either the combination of seasons or the guideline restrictions, will be held harmless in their quest to become a 12-sport athlete. So if you're a returning student and you had done three sports, the assumption is that you were going to do those three sports, so long as your lack of participation in three sports was caused by the combination of seasons or guideline restrictions. So with that in mind, we did, as I said before, we did have two. And so for the 2020-21 school year, here are the two three-sport athletes, Lucas Peschke and Ethan Z. Congratulations. So we did have, with that same mindset of the health guidelines or the combination of sports, not preventing somebody from being a three-sport athlete, we ended up with only one award, David Stiles, 12-sport athlete memorial award winner this year. David Stiles was a great fan and supporter of Aragon High School. He passed away in 2010. He had three daughters who attended Aragon High School, and all three of them were 12-sport athletes. And so when he passed away, we thought it was appropriate to name this award in his honor. And this year's sole recipient is Blaine Reynolds. Blaine did cross country, basketball, and track and field. This year, basketball and track and field took place at exactly the same time, and so it was not going to be possible for him to do both of those. So, Blaine, congratulations. Moving on to announce the male athletes of the year. I'm sorry, to the male athlete of the year. This year's winner was just recognized as a 12-sport athlete. In the sport of cross country, he led the boys to a 5-0 record in the PAL B division by taking first place in each of the dual meets. The previous cross country season, he was the PAL champion and was selected the San Mateo Daily Journal as the county cross country athlete of the year. At CCS Division II championships in 2019, finished in the top 10, qualifying him for the California State meet. It was the second year in a row he has earned the honor of representing Aragon at state. If there had been a meet this season, he no doubt would have made his third trip to state, becoming only one of three Aragon athletes to do so. In track this season, this year's winner was a team leader in track. In the dual meets, he had 12 first place finishes in 13 attempts and took second in the other event. Blaine was responsible for scoring 64 points for his team in dual meets. As a team leader in track and field at the PAL League Championship meet, this year's winner in a 4-hour span won the 1600, took second in the 800, and won the 3200. He scored 28 points, leading Aragon to a league championship. In closing, this year's winner has been a team leader that the last 3 years as a team captain of the cross country team and as team captain of the track distance group. He leads by his commitment to the sports, his work ethic and practice, his willingness to help his teammates, his communication skills, and his support of the coaching staff in both of his sports. He is a truly great representative for Aragon High School as both a student and athlete. This year's winner, Blaine Reynolds. Congratulations, Blaine. Moving on to the female athlete of the year. This year's winner competed for Aragon track and field for the past 4 years. She has been top ranked in both the 100 and 300 hurdles for the past 2 years. She has maintained a rigorous academic schedule, attending middle college the past 2 years, and has sacrificed much to remain a member of the team. She was co-captain of both the Frost-Off and varsity teams. She is a total team leader and role model. She competed in the two most difficult skill events in track and field, the hurdles and the pole vault. She managed the difficulty and stress of managing training and competition in both hurdle races and the pole vault is quite an accomplishment. She's currently ranked third all time in school history in both hurdle events and has a great chance of breaking both records in the next CCS meet. At the league championship meet, this year's winner won the 100 and 300 hurdles and took second in the pole vault. Like Blaine, she scored an astounding 28 points all by herself in leading our girls to a league championship. This year's winner, Alyssa Huey. Congratulations, Alyssa. So I want to final some thanks and some final notes. I want to thank Anthony Remedios. He graduated last year as Sports Information Director for helping put together this presentation. Also, I want to thank you to the coaches who held workouts and practices for several months. Several of you held practices back in September, October, November, not knowing if there would ever be a season. In fact, track and field, we didn't know there was going to be a league championship meet until about 2 weeks ago. So thank you for your dedication. And thank you to the parents for trusting us to provide a safe experience for your kids. Several of you let your kids compete when we were still under the stay-at-home order in the purple phase of the health tiers. And so we appreciate you trusting us with your athletes. Most of all, however, my deepest respect to the courageous athletes who persevered through loss, risk, uncertainty, and ever-changing health guidelines. I hope this year, being able to compete this year, took a little bit out of the sting out of losing last year, and I'm just so happy that almost all sports got some part of a season. And even if some of them were truncated, it was great to see people out there. But again, my deepest respect to these great athletes. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope to see you a year from now in our wonderful theater making this presentation in person. Take care and go Dons.